send message, don't send message, right.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Joe Mullender and Mark Neatherway.
How are we doing? How's it going?
Great, I thought I'd do this interview now because I've had an interview with Joe already, spoke about his great win with Gary Bolden. I want to talk to you, Mark, and your involvement with Joe and what you do for Joe.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Okay, well basically, I mean, me and Joe met in the gym a couple of years back, and you know, we quickly became good pals. Joe told me about his boxing, and I went along to one of his amateur fights, and I knew straight away that he was something special and that he was going places. But what frustrated me was nobody knew it. He didn't make a big deal out of it. You know, everyone in the gym knew that that's what he did, and that's what he sort of taught. But no one really knew what he had. So when he turned pro, I made a point of sort of stepping in and just making sure that everyone knew what was going on, and knocked up some posters on Photoshop, although they weren't the best. But yeah, just got it out there and made sure that everyone knew. We got a good crowd together for his debut, and you know, we've been fortunate enough to maintain a good crowd ever since.
Great stuff. I mean, that's just like, that's really sort of like homegrown stuff there, you know. People don't really talk about that sort of stuff. They kind of, like when a fighter makes it, they don't really talk about that stuff. Say, oh yeah, it was always like that, it was always made, it was perfect. This sort of stuff is real. It's really what boxing fans want to hear about. It's a real...
Well, that's the truth.
It's true.
Yeah, it's the truth. People want to hear the truth. People like to hear the truth. And hear
well,
a fight is
going to get from Joe, you know, because he doesn't, as you probably know by now, doesn't pretend to be anyone that he's not. He is who he is, and he's, you know, I think that's why people are going to like him.
Absolutely, that's why people loved Ricky Hatton, because he just knew he was one of the lads.
Yeah, he's one of the boys, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely, and that was the thing that made him famous, and also the thing that made him infamous. You know, the blowing up in weight, the boozing, and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, exactly. So that, you know, that's why people still love Ricky Hatton up to this day.
Yeah.
So, Mark, where do you see Joe going in the future? I mean, what's your plans for him? What do you? I mean, in terms of your role as a title, what is your title in terms of with Joe?
I think my title is still best mate.
Yeah, that helps.
But you know, my responsibilities are really to shift his tickets.
Yeah.
And to deal with his money. Joe's a fantastic boxer, but he's not very good when it comes to numbers or money or spreadsheets. I mean, I've had to turn this computer on for him. You know, so yeah, that's my role. Is when he turned pro. I mean, at the early stages, he's still very much responsible for selling his tickets and dealing with his money. And I knew full well that that's not something that he would find easy,
right.
Which is fair, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or would enjoy it. I really wanted him to focus on his job, which is to box and to train and to sleep like 3 or 4 times a day and do what he does best. So I took on the role of handling money, dealing tickets, and on fight day, working with Joe's manager and the promoter, and just taking all of those stresses away from him.
Which is what a lot of people don't see behind, obviously, at the start when you're a pro, is you have to sell tickets, you have to deal with all the money and your promoter and things like that, which I've always said, my team wouldn't now, Mark's a big part of that team, do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. I don't fight without Mark, and my team are so, like, I'm really grateful to have Mark in the team. He's a big, important player in the team now because he deals with all that. At the end of the day, tickets are not sold, money's not done right. We don't fight because the promoter and that don't get their money, and so it's a big, really important role Mark does for not just me, but for with me manager, things like that. So, and I can't say to people how important that side of it is, do you know what I mean, to be taken off my hands, because the pressure's unbelievable when it's fight time. I mean, a lot of fighters deal with it themselves, where they have to deal with ticket money and an hour, 2 hours before they're weighing in, they're dealing with like money and promoters, and you don't need
technically be on the phone talking to people about getting tickets on the same night.
Yeah, of course I could. I mean,
the phone always rings on fight day.
I mean, if I had to deal with that on fight day, I mean, I'd probably be nicked by now.
But yeah, I mean, moving forward, I'm in the process of getting my corners license, my seconds license.
Excellent.
And yeah, I hope to see my involvement grow and grow. You know, I look to be there in his corner. I walk out with him, and I pitch up in the front row at present. But on his next fight, I'd like to be with my license and
be right there.
Something like that.
We've got a very good team. Do you know what I mean? So every one of us works when we're in the changing room and that. I mean, obviously the main man, Jason Rowland, who's my trainer, and Richard Clark, who's my manager.
Yeah.
They're happy to have Mark and my strength coach, Mark Cooper, in there because, like Jason said, Jason's an ex-world champion. So Jason knows where he says, whatever makes the fighter happy when the pressure's on, you do. So when I have Mark with me, it calms me down before fights. You know, if I'm sitting in a room on my own and I'm staring at walls, I'm gonna be going mental. But where he's there, and it just sometimes you just need something to take your mind off the fight. And when it's time to switch on, you switch on. So
in terms of exposure, Mark, in terms of social media, I know that Joe is currently on Twitter.
That's right.
Does he have
I've just worked out how to spell my name on it.
Don't say those kind of
sorry.
things. Doesn't help. I'm kidding. Also, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah. So we've got Facebook and Twitter where we get up some pictures and some sort of training sort of statuses and things like that. But we are working now on a website, so that'll be next, and it shouldn't be too long. Just talking to people now about getting that set up. So yeah, an opportunity to show past fights and some photos, and possibly even sell tickets. So that's only a week or two away, I think.
Do you know what I would really love? I would love, because obviously you know I'm not in the UK, I would love to be able to take a trip with you and look around the area that you live, like just your area, and not only that, be able to go with you in the gym, like on Skype, on the gym, go in the gym and meet your stable of fighters, Mitchell Smith, Jason Rowland, and have a little chat with them as well. So it sort of builds an idea of who Joe Mullen is, not just this random guy from who's got a Cockney accent that can fight a bit. He actually is a part of a stable, and that builds more of a picture. Oh, he's with he's Mitchell Smith. Oh, Jason Rowland, I remember him. You start to build a picture.
Yeah.
So that would be fantastic if there's some way we could get that organised for the fans. Fans would love that.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
And like I said, I really enjoy interviewing you because you're just so honest, down to earth, and I am a fan because I'm actually, apart from doing the interview, I'm a fan as well. And although I haven't seen much of your fights, there isn't much of your fights, but I still am a fan because I'm interested to hear your story. Do you know what I mean?
Well, just let me know if you want a ticket.
I'll tell you what, here's the deal, yeah? I'll buy a ticket to watch his fight, yeah? And you can buy for my flight to get from where I am to the UK.
That'd be my wages gone.
Right? And then I'll be more than happy to buy a ticket. No, jokes aside, definitely when I'm in the UK, I'll definitely come and I will buy a ticket and I'll be there. So, is there anything else you want to say to the fans or let the fans know? Joe, Mark?
Basically, we're as a team, I mean, we're grateful. We get unbelievable support on the night. I mean, even people who don't buy tickets off us ended up supporting us, and call was mental the other night. So, and it was all, and literally it was all for us. So, yeah, anyone, we'd appreciate your support, and anything like that, we can't thank people enough for coming to watch us fight. And
you're getting lots of write-ups. I mean, you look on Google, there's lots of write-ups of your last fight against Bolden, and that, you know, that's a positive. So people are taking notice of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think all I would say is Joe's fan base is growing, which is great, and you know, get behind us on Twitter and Facebook. Keep your eyes out for the website. Come and see us fight again in September 7th.
Okay. Do you know kind of like what? It's just be another 8-rounder or a 10-rounder or?
I think nothing's been decided. I mean, we're just talking at the minute because obviously we're just getting over this fight. So
yeah, exactly.
I think we're looking at one more fight around 6 or 8 round level. I'm not too sure. And then hopefully we're looking for like a Southern Area title, big night, Southern Area title fight in December, something like that. But nothing's been contracted yet. Nothing's been.
Okay.
So
Do you know who the Southern Area champion is in your division?
I think it's Nathan Graham at the minute, but
okay.
I think that's as far as we know, it's Nathan Graham. But I don't know what's sort of happening with him, if he's fighting soon or if he's got vacate, anything like that. So,
do you know of Nathan Graham? Do you know anything about him as a fighter?
We've seen him before because one of my mates who fights local around here has actually fought him for the Southern Area title, pushing as you do her.
Okay, how did he do against him?
Nathan in 2 fights.
Right.
So, for the Southern Area, and they had a rematch because the first one was a draw, and then
right.
Christian's shoulder popped out in the second one.
Right. Oh.
So yeah, I mean, there may be a chance they could be fighting for it. We don't know yet, so we just it's up to our management and Steve now, things like that, and then I basically get told when to fight, who's fighting. I'll just turn up
and do the business.
Do the biz out.
Well.
That's all we know.
Steve Goodwin's your promoter, right?
Yeah.
How important has Steve Goodwin been for you guys?
He's been fantastic with me. I can't speak highly enough of Steve. I mean, everything my team have asked for, he's done, and he puts us. I mean, even when I weren't signed to him, he puts us on at good times. He got us good fights. He works. Obviously, Mark deals with Steve quite a lot,
right?
With money and ticket wise, but
yeah, Steve Goodwin's a top fella, and our relationship's growing with him. With 5 fights under his name now, and I feel like every time we meet, you know, we're that little bit closer, and he looks after Joe, as he said. This fight in particular, great spot on the bill. And I can see he's got a lot of time for Joe, so yeah, it's a great relationship, and I think that's really, really important, and we're very lucky because I don't think that's always the case with promoters and their boxers.
Excellent stuff. Mark, Joe, great talking to you. Thanks for talking to Bayloric TV.
And you, sir.
Lovely.
Appreciate it. Take care. Thanks
much.
See you soon, mate.